Hey, Half-Life2.net, this is Razziar, otherwise known as Cowman. I am making this series of very short videos demonstrating some of the ACE2 features for Arma 2, a modification that we play with. This will help you newer people get used to some of the intricacies of ACE2 and help you be a better unit. Okay, the first thing I would like to talk about are the Rucksacks. If you press the G key to open up your gear by default, you will see that I have a backpack here. This is the Arma 2 style backpack. You can tell this by looking at the bottom here where it says open bag. That will open the bag and you can close the bag in the same fashion. This is not the type of rucksack that we like to use, so I would request that you find a place to drop it and do so. Now you can find a backpack that conforms to the ACE2 style system. You can see at the bottom here it says rearm and it does not say open bag. To place an item into the backpack, you click the item in your inventory and click down here where it says pack. This will pack the items into your rucksack. To remove an item from your rucksack, you just click the item within the rucksack over here and click unpack. It is very simple. If you see here it says 25,900 cc free. This is cubic centimeters. This is the amount of space that the backpack can carry. Over here on the right you see 0.600 kilograms. This is the weight of the item as represented by the weight up here. And this is the cubic centimeters that this magazine takes up. Some items are more bulky than others and cannot be fit into the backpack. Please remember that. One of the most useful features of ACE2 is the ability to rest your weapon on an obstacle. If you notice before I demonstrate that, pretend there's a target out there. As I'm firing, you can see that it is difficult to place my round successively on the exact same spot. This is more pronounced if you have a weapon such as a machine gun with greater recoil. Now, you can instead, to simulate real life, find a waist-high item such as the hood of this vehicle and press the shift space key on the vehicle. As you can see in the top left it says weapon deployed. This means that my weapon is deployed and as I fire my recoil is greatly reduced and I can place shots at the same spot successively. If you look around too much, such as this, your weapon will be removed from the vehicle's hood and you will no longer be stabilized. You can just press shift space again to stabilize your weapon. And next I will demonstrate how this works with a machine gun. Alright, now demonstrating the weapon stabilization system, let me first show that I have a machine gun and the kickback on this weapon while crouched. As you can see, it is very difficult to fire your rounds downrange and remain accurate. You could crouch and you will gain some increased accuracy. Sometimes this is not enough. So instead you can find a waist-high obstacle such as this vehicle and as I said before, press shift space. This will deploy your weapon and you can fire very little recoil. Now the thing with weapons such as this machine gun, as you can see, it has a bipod. This bipod on sniper rifles and some machine guns can allow you to stabilize your weapon any place you are by going prone and then pressing shift space. If you do not have a bipod, pressing shift space while prone will not work. So now that I am stabilized, I can fire my weapon with very little recoil. When firing higher caliber weapons such as the machine gun or higher caliber sniper rifles, hearing protection is a must. As I will demonstrate here with this medium machine gun, you can hear that my hearing is starting to be affected. If I continue in this fashion, I will quickly find myself deaf or at the very least very hard of hearing. ACE2 can remedy this, which you will find in this ammo box right here. Earplugs. As I scroll down here to find the earplugs, they are right here. This is what they look like. If you double click them, they will go into your inventory like this. Now, to use these earplugs, you will use your personal context menu. I will explain this in another video, but I have opened up my personal context menu as this, and you see in the goggles masks part here, I can click that and equip my earplugs. Now my hearing is protected. I can now fire without suffering from the debilitative effects of the high caliber fire. The context menus are a very important part of Ace 2. If you look on your keyboard between the right Windows key and your right control key, there is an option key. If you click on that key, that is your personal context menu. I have clicked that, and as you can see, these are my options for my personal context. If you click on another player with the right Windows key, as I will demonstrate on this AI, you will have the other player context menu, and you can do different things based on the context of that other player. And that is all there is to do with this context menu system. It's very simple. Oftentimes you'll find that you'll need to be able to heal yourself or another teammate in combat. You can do this in the Ace mod with one of 4 different items. You have the bandages here, which will help you heal bullet wounds or shrapnel lacerations. It'll basically stop your bleeding. You have the morphine, the red syringe, which will help you heal your pain. If you are injured and in pain, it will help heal that, and you will reduce your weapon sway. Thirdly, you have the epinephrine. This is basically an adrenaline shot to the heart, and it will recover a heart that has stopped beating. Lastly, you have the med kit, which I'm not completely familiar with, but should heal all the rest of your wounds if administered by a medic near a med tent or a medical vehicle. Now we have Vegeta over here, who will demonstrate the role of patient. So say hi, Vegeta.
Hey.
Okay, to heal another teammate, you will need to use the other player context menu, which is the right Windows key. As you can see, I will now need to examine him, and it says he is conscious, he is bleeding, and needs to get bandaged. He is in pain and needs morphine. So I can stop the bleeding, and I will go through an animation to stop the bleeding, upon which I can hit the right Windows context menu again for another player, examine him again, and use morphine. If he had been rendered unconscious and his heart had stopped beating, I could use epinephrine, or wired, I could use the med kit to give him first aid. CPR, as you see here, can be used to start the heart as well, but it takes a long time, and I would recommend carrying epinephrine instead. Now, if you need to shoot yourself, and to demonstrate that, I will have Vegeta shoot me in the chest with his gun. Okay, if you need to heal yourself, you will use the personal context menu, which is between the right control and the right Windows key. As you can see, I have a treat wounds option to stop my bleeding. It works very much the same way for yourself as it does for another player. I press it again, treat my wounds, and use morphine. You do not have the ability to examine yourself. You will need another player to examine you to see the full extent of your injuries. And that's it. Thank you, Vegeta. I don't believe this is an Ace 2 exclusive feature, but I want to demonstrate the ability to roll and lean. By default, the Q and the E key will cause you to lean left and lean right. This is useful if you're on the side of a building to peek out and shoot at enemies. This leaning works if you are standing or crouching. However, if you go prone, the lean keys now allow you to roll. If you press the Q key, you will roll to the left. If you press the E key, you will roll to the right. This is useful to retain some mobility while prone, which you would not otherwise have from rolling from cover to cover or whatever. Okay, laser rangefinder. As I press the G key, you can see here that I have a Vector 21B Knight, which is a rangefinder. It uses the 2CR5 battery, as you see here. To access this, you use it with like any other weapon, and you use the middle mouse scroll. Once you have it up, you can press the right mouse button to look through it very much like a pair of binoculars, and you can use them as such. However, where these really shine is by the rangefinder abilities. You can press the R key to load up the battery, and that will take a second. Okay, I have the battery loaded up, and as you can see, it gives me my compass bearing, which is quite useful. However, if you click the left mouse button, you can now bring up the range. Now, if you need to switch to a different area, just look at it and click the left mouse button, and it will update accordingly. As you can see, that is 1,070 meters. This is incredibly useful for sniper teams or other weapons teams that need a completely computerized accurate distance reading.